And I think we can go ahead and kick this off. Some people may be joining us as we go on here. Well, let's get it rolling. So we turn off. All right. Okay, well, welcome everyone to this month's workshop. We do these workshops monthly through the Brand Accelerator membership. And this month's workshop is grateful to host Raylen Davis. Here, Raylen, I'm gonna pin you here real quick. So everybody can see you there and get you up here. So Raylen, he is a sales coach, but he's much more than that. He's a mindset coach. He's the founder of ECA, Elevated Coaches Academy. And in there, he's taking coaches to new heights. Literally has changed my business. And he's a master at crafting offers and helping you understand even more than just your business and what you're selling, like the people that you're talking to and the psychology behind it. So Raylen is going to get at it. This is going to be action oriented. He's big on execution. So no one will leave here without something to take with them unless they choose not to. So that's on you. Raylen?
So first of all, Tim, thanks for having me. And I'm so pleased to meet all of you. Today, like Tim had mentioned, my goal and intention of being here is to make sure you leave with something you can take action on. I was talking to a friend of mine and Eric, Tim, and he said, you know, Raylen, I was trying to wrap my head around what really you are, because I don't think you're a sales coach. He said, I think you're a results coach, because the way that you pose everything is about getting results. So that's ultimately what my goal is here to do. Now, from my understanding, you know, most of us here, we have offers, we have dreams of helping clients to better their lives. Is that fair to say? Can everyone raise their hand if that's you? Like, do you feel like that's the mission, is to help people? Okay, good. So one of the things I want us to keep in mind is that I believe that we all have a moral and ethical responsibility to help as many people as we humanly can. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that we're going to help a whole bunch of people. I subscribe to the idea that I want to help fewer people, but have major impacts in their lives, true transformation, making them go from point A to point B. So that way, literally, when they die on their deathbed, they go, tell Raylen thank you. Like that's ultimately my dream. Okay. Now, if that happens, if Tim doesn't do that, then I won't be upset, but that's kind of the goal. And so today, here's the intention. I want us to understand the vehicle in which we're going to transform our clients' lives. And I want us to understand the offer. But it's really important that I start with language. We have to understand what we're talking about here. So when I say vehicle, right? Because most people say build the offer, and we get confused about what that means. So I'm going to break that down really, really briefly and how I describe them. So one, vehicle, that's how we transform these individuals' lives. It's our vehicle. It's the thing that's going to take them from point A to point B. It is important, but what's equally important is the offer. It's how the packaging looks. It's how you describe what you do. Most of you, I think Mike and I were having this conversation the other day where I said, if someone doesn't take an action on your offer, if you don't inspire them to take action on your offer, to work with you, it's not because you suck. It's not because what you do isn't good or isn't needed. It's simply the way you articulate it sucks. And that's okay. We can change that. So it's important to note, you don't suck. Your offer just sucks. And we can change your offer. So that's the good thing. All right. So before I kind of get into it, I want you guys to understand how I came up with this stuff. So, a long time ago, I was in high school and I was leaving high school and I had a scholarship for wrestling. I was going to go to college to wrestle. And my wrestling coach at the time, my high school wrestling coach, asked me, he said, well, what are you going to go to school for? I said, I want to go to school to be a teacher. He goes, oh, that's really good. That's good. And he goes, well, why teacher? I'm like, oh, that's what everyone tells me I'd be good at. I'd be a good teacher. And he said, okay, fine. But he asked me a question that nobody asked me before. He goes, well, what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? He goes, what kind of car do you want to drive? I said, at the time I don't know why. I grew up in Michigan like Tim, and out there, everyone has giant lifted trucks. So I said, I want a giant black, like Hemi truck. And he goes, okay, cool. That's like probably a $60,000, $70,000 car. I'm like, yeah. He He goes, all right, cool. Where do you want to live? At the time, anyway, I don't live there anymore. I live in Arizona, but at the time I was like, I want to live in Royal Oak, Michigan. He goes, well, what kind of house do you want to have? I want to have your house. And by the way, I think it's important to note too, my wrestling coach was the first entrepreneur I ever met and the first 7-figure entrepreneur I ever met. So he had money. So he goes, well, what house do you want? I'm only your house. And he goes, okay, well, that's a $2 million house. Like, yeah. And so he goes, well, that lifestyle that you want to live, what you want for yourself, how much time do you want for yourself, et cetera, that is held to individuals that are probably making like $500,000. And once again, I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. I'll make $500,000. But what's funny is I never connected the dots. I don't know if you know this, but teachers don't make $500,000 a year. Again, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but they don't make that. So I lost sight of the thing he was trying to give me, the thing that he was trying to coach me to, which is ultimately teachers don't make $500,000. And so what was interesting was I had this dream of a lifestyle I wanted to live, but not the vehicle to get me there. And so he said something to me I never forgot. He said, Raylen, what most people do is they go to school, they get a job, and their entire lifestyle is built around a job, something they didn't even probably even want. This is just the thing that, they got. And their entire life, how much time they spend with their family, how much vacation they get, how much money they make, what kind of car they drive, where they live, all the above is based around a job. And he said, well, what if instead you started with what you want? What if instead you describe what is it you want, and then you did the things necessary to get there? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. In order to build the offer, in order to build what we want to do, we have to ensure that we understand what we want. So here's what we're going to do right now. Okay. And there's a reason, by the way, I don't do PowerPoints, is because 1, they take too much damn time. And 2, I want you talking to me. There's no point in looking at a PowerPoint. So I want to start with this because Kelly's been smiling a lot at me and it's making me feel comfortable. So Kelly, I'm going to ask you a question. If you can unmute real quick.
Hi.
So I call this the golden question. Hi, Kelly. Nice to meet you. Kelly, what do you do?
I am a psychologist.
Great. So you're gonna know a whole bunch of this stuff. Okay. So first question I have for you is this: what do you want?
I mean, on a general sense, I want to help other people and help them reach their goals, feel better, improve their mood symptoms. I feel like by your reaction, you're looking for something different.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but I asked you a question. I said, what do you want? And it was about other people. I didn't ask you what do you want for others. I said, what do you want? So what does Kelly want?
I mean, I think for me, I feel good helping other people. So that makes me feel good. It's a great question. I think I want to feel good about helping other people, about giving back. Like larger goals, like probably I want to write like a book. I want to kind of have more balance in my life between helping other people, but also doing things to kind of further my career, maybe do things where it's a little bit more, having a little bit more passive income rather than directly kind of working with clients. So having a balance in that way.
Okay. So the first thing I'm wondering is, do you ever write your goals down?
I do.
Okay. So then why did it take you so long to answer the question of what do you want?
I think maybe because I have too many goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes, right, we struggle to say what we want because, one, if you say it, that means you got to do it.
That's true. Yeah.
And if you say what you want, you have a room full of people that ultimately could potentially hold you accountable to actually going to do the things. And there's an interesting thing that happens, right? Where I don't know if anybody ever does this before. By the way, Tim, can you see that people are trying to come in? I don't know if you could see that.
I sent you a note. I accidentally made you the host when I tried to make you the co-host. So now I can't help anybody anymore.
Okay.
So make me the host again.
I'm changing.
Okay,
so here's the thing that we have to, I don't know if anybody else does this, right? But sometimes I'll lay in bed and I'll dream about winning the lottery. Has anybody ever done that before? Where you're thinking about winning the lottery? how much, like how you would spend it. No, Kelly, you're better than me. So sometimes I'll play, what would I do with $150 million? Like, what would I, like, how would I spend the first day? You know, who would I contact first? Who would I tell? Who would I not tell? And I do all this, but I never actually go and buy a ticket. And the reason I never go buy a ticket, because if I buy the ticket, it may mean that the dream can't ever happen. And I'll lose the dream. So sometimes that happens with our goals. If we say the goal, it may not happen. So we might as well just not say it. So one of the things, Kelly, you mentioned, you want to write a book. You want to impact people, right?
Yes.
And we want to make money, but not have to kill ourselves to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How much money do you want to make a year?
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever thought about that.
So if we don't know how much money we're going to make, right? If we don't ever put it out there, then we don't know what to do. Or if we don't set a goal, you can't achieve the goal.
It's very true. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of this mix. I think it's a mix because I think like I'm more drawn towards impacting people, because I want to kind of make like the therapy that I do a little bit more digestible so it can impact more people. So like the money part sounds great, but I always feel like that's a little bit secondary to the main goal. So maybe that's why I don't ever like, because I'm like, oh, that'd be great. If there was some passive income, that'd be great, but it's never like the primary goal. So maybe that's why I haven't like solidified.
Kelly, how much money do you want to make?
I don't know. From writing a book, I don't even see, I have to research that. I don't even know like how much money like makes sense that you would make passively from like writing a book.
You don't need to research it. How much money do you want to make?
I don't, that's a really hard question. I don't.
Why is it so hard? Because you could literally throw out any number right now.
Okay, let's say like $5 grand from writing a book. Let's just throw that out there.
No. How much money in a year do you want to make from all of your stuff? I don't care. Book, your clients, the programs you run, all of it. In a year from you impacting people and doing what you love to do, how much money do you want to make?
I mean, 6 figures sounds good.
Okay. How much? 100, 200, 6 figures is huge. $500,000, 100,000.
Let's say like, sure, like 100,000 sounds good.
Okay, fine. By the way, everyone, round of applause to Kelly. So by the way, the reason why, Kelly, I wasn't going to let you off. Here's the thing, right? Once again, if you don't ever say what you want, you will never get it.
It's very true.
Quite possible. It is quite possible. The reason why maybe you haven't hit 6 figures in your business is because you never set the goal to hit 6 figures in your business. We get what we want, right? We get what we want. So this is what I do. So for my coaching, ultimately we start here. We start with what you want, because oftentimes what we do is we tend to do these behaviors and we don't understand why we do them. We just do them, right? And they give us a result. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on, for example, not setting a goal, you're not going to get the goal. Okay. So what I tend to do is I try to be incongruent, which means to me, what I want and the actions I take daily are in line. Most people that I work with, what they tend to do is they have this goal up here, which is great, but their behaviors are over here. And they wonder, why am I not hitting the goals I want? I don't understand. It's because the behaviors are in line. So the goal every single day, should you choose to accept it, is to have those things in line. So for us, that we started this conversation with, I want to impact more people. I want to help people. Why in the world did I address it to money? Why does that matter? So, Kelly probably knows the study, but a long time ago, they did a study where they took 3 things of wines, 3 bottles of wine, and each wine was priced differently, right? The first wine was low ticket, medium ticket, and high ticket. High ticket meaning like $10,000 or more, whatever. It was a super expensive wine. They asked them to do a taste test. Which one tastes the best? And obviously, every single one across the board said the one that was priced the least was the least good tasting, middle and high, and so on. It's the same fucking wine, guys. Same exact wine. So when we attach money to something, it inherently shoots up the value. So this is why I subscribe to the idea that in order to have high impact, we should stretch people in terms of money, but not break them. Stretch, but not break. So for example, when someone enrolls into the Elevated Coaches Academy, you feel that swipe. You feel it. Oh, that was a big investment for me. I want you to feel that way. Why? Because you're going to value it more. Most people do this thing where they're like, oh, I want to have like the Netflix style of X. But here's the thing. When's the last time you noticed when Netflix charged you? I don't ever notice it. It's $8. I don't even know how much it is right now at this point. I think it's maybe $8. I don't know. I have no idea how much Netflix costs. I just know I have it. Okay. Now here's the thing. If I don't use it for 2 months, I also don't think about it. The question is, do you want your clients, the people that you work with, to undervalue what you do so they don't actually invest themselves into it? The thing is, when you're in the people business, they have to actually put effort in getting the result. And if they're not personally invested monetarily, they will not get their results. Now, this is coming from someone that I've tried to do that super high valuable offers for a low amount of money. And what unfortunately I've discovered is that the lower the dollar amount, the less impact you actually make. So I've shifted this to becoming, how can I transform someone's life, have them feel it? Again, we're not talking about breaking people's spirit, right? I don't accept anybody, if they want to join my program, they're like, hey, Raylen, I have $200 to my name. All right, fine. Like, I don't know if I'm the right fit for you, because your offer should stretch someone, but not break them. This is really important. So now that we went over that, again, I'm not going to pick on everybody. Thank you, Kelly, again, for being the example. I appreciate you once again. But take time to know what you want. And I would also say this: if you are not willing to state what you want in a dollar amount, if you're not willing to say how many people you want to change their life, you're never going to change or have the impact that you actually desire. You will fall short. So if you do feel like your program or offer, if you feel like you have a moral and ethical responsibility to change lives, in order to help them, you have to know what you want. Otherwise, you'll never help those people. It starts with you. So anyway, with that being said, the first thing I want to kind of cover is ultimately the difference between the vehicle and the whatever. So the first thing is the vehicle. How do we transform people's lives? Okay. So the vehicle is, once again, the transformation steps. What is it going to take, right? So in this little exercise, I want us to, you're going to unmute. We're all going to throw in ideas, but let's just say, okay, we want to design a program. We want to design something that's going to help people go from point A to point B. What are all the ways that we can deliver that content? So for example, I'll just put the first one out there, one-to-one. I'm going to do one-to-one meetings, and that's going to help that one individual get from point A to point B. How else could we deliver that information? Do we really only have 10 minutes, Tim?
No, something weird happened. I'm going to fix it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So what else? Group coaching. Okay. One-to-many. Workshops. Good. So we got one-to-many. We got workshops. What else?
Self-paced course.
Masterminds. Okay.
A self-paced course.
Self-paced. So like a course. Okay, good. All right. So I think we got a good amount right now. So we have like one-to-one, we got memberships, we got courses, we got a mastermind. Okay, good. So now we have a plethora of vehicles to choose from, and one-to-one, of course. Don't forget about the one-to-one. So we have a plethora of choices. So what most people do is they pick one and they just run with it. Products, good. So most people just pick a product and they just run with it. But again, we have to start with what do you think we should start with? Not picking the product or how we're going to deliver the transformation. What should we start with in mind? We just spent, a bunch of time with Kelly on this. the end goal. Or in other words, we start with what is it that you want, right? So we start with what do you want? Let's just say it's six figures. Okay, we're going to take the goal of $100,000. That's most people's goals. I want to make $100,000 in my business, right? And or you could argue it's like $11,000 to $10,000 a month in your business. Okay, so I start there, and then I pick the vehicle that's going to give me that result at the fastest. So there's two things that I consider when I'm choosing the vehicle that I'm going to deliver the transformation. One, what's going to get me to my goal faster and easier? And two, what vehicle will actually help my clients get there faster? So out of the vehicles, which ones do you feel like for your specific thing that you do is the best vehicle to, one, get you to where you want to be faster, and two, get your clients faster results? Which vehicle? Anybody can unmute and answer. For you, what do you think it is?
For me, it's definitely
Where's
going to
Shree
be. I'm sorry.
Micah, go ahead. We'll come back to Shree. Charlie. Did I say that right, Charlie?
For me, it would be definitely, I feel group coaching will be the best.
Okay, so why? Granted, Micah is my client, so he might be cheating and telling you guys the right answer, but why group coaching?
Well, for two reasons. For me, it takes, if I have 10 clients, right, I'd rather do a group coaching with them, because then that's maybe 1 hour that I'm giving them all, and then plus, Q&A after that, but like 1 hour that I'm giving them instead of doing 1 hour with each person. So that's taking up 10 hours of my time, where I can be going ahead and developing things for them and for other people coming in. But also for them, the benefit of a group coaching is then you have that accountability. You throw them in a community, Telegram, Slack, whatever it may be, and then they can kind of pull on each other.
Exactly. Good answer, Micah. One thing that I have found is that the best way to get results for your client is there has to be a community element. Has to be is a strong language. I realize that. But when other people are pursuing the goal and everyone's going together, they lean on each other, which actually limits the time that you are needed, but increases the likelihood of them achieving the goal they want faster. So by creating a group element, now there is work involved. Like, for example, for Elevated, what's the word for it? I interview every single coach that comes in. Why? Because if they're not a good fit, it will ruin and disrupt the whole community. So there is work involved in making sure you have the right selection process. But for the most part, when you do group coaching, it increases your profit margin. So let's talk for a moment about profit margins when it comes to group programs or programs in general. Okay. You want a program and niche down. This is a whole thing that Tim can go over with you guys. But when you niche down, everyone says for marketing purposes, it does make sense. But I think of it from the results perspective. If I'm super niche down on who I'm working with and the result that I want, it actually makes it easier on me. The reason being is I know the journey. First step is this, second step is this. I already have the tool designed for it. I know exactly what those sessions are going to go through. I know all of that. So the upfront cost to me in terms of effort is nil. The first couple ones for sure, right? You're going to spend time designing it. But then after that, it's just kind of like a factory. And you tweak a little bit on depending on the person. That decreases the time necessary, which then increases your profit margin per each person. So to me, a good profit margin is going to be for a coaching program is like towards the end, like let's say you're running the program for 6 months, you could have profit margins close to 70%, which is insane for service-based industries. More, I'm going to get away from that because numbers are boring to people sometimes. So I'm going to get away from that. But you understand the point. You want to make it super easy. So niching down is actually super important for your business. That's why I work with coaches, because I know the exact journey. If we enter somebody that is product-based, it doesn't make sense for us because I have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. So once you decide on the vehicle, okay, you also have to decide and niche down, so to speak, on not just the avatar, but you have to niche down on your result, okay? So what result are we looking for? So for example, let's take Elevated for the example. The result that my clients are looking for is to have a higher impact per person in their programs, meaning they get better results. And 2, they make more money per person. That's the 2 things. That's it. That's really what my coaches want. I want to actually make money in my coaching business, and I want my people to love me. That's really what result we're looking for. So it's super niche down. We do other stuff, but that's the only 2 important things. If you don't get those 2 things on my program is flawed. So for you, because I know there's a lot of people here that are like life coaches. Obviously, we have somebody like, in the therapy space. So think about if you were to niche down your result, what would that result be? So like, for example, we have someone in the program as a mindset coach. So what we did with him was we went through and we figured out what is the one thing that well, they could feel confident. They could feel this, they could feel. It's too many things. Okay. What do they want? Your avatar, they're talking, what do they want? And this individual is plagued, the way we came up with it, was this individual wants to be able to write their own story. They have a bunch of baggage. They keep telling themselves they can't do stuff. They can't actually go after that big goal. So the end result is they have less fear going after something that they want. They want to take a massive step forward in their life. That's an action. So think of it this way. In other words, they have a decision to make and they want to have the confidence to make it. I've niched down on the result. So by niching down on the result, now I know the journey. And that's how we came up with the whole program. So now we're having them rewrite basically their life story, ending with them taking a massive step somewhere, having a hard conversation with a loved one that they need to have for the last 6 months. Okay. That's how we niche down on a result. So let's go with Bryce. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Living the dream, man. If you think of it this way, we're floating on a planet in the middle of nowhere and in a universe that's ever expanding. And I'm here talking on Zoom, teaching people how to make money. It's ridiculous if you think about it.
It's a great use of all 70 trillion cells, huh?
Yeah, why not? So Bryce, what do you do?
I am a mindset coach and speaker.
Perfect. Mindset coach. We're just talking about that. It's like I knew. I didn't know, by the way. So mindset coach. So if we were to think about the result that your avatar wants, what do they want?
Yeah, so my specialty or my focus is changing the way people think to help them live a happier, successful, and more fulfilling life. And I've taken that even a step further and made my journey more about self-love, self-care, and understanding that, you do not have to worry about other people's opinions, judgments, and basically living, in a small sentence, living as your authentic self.
Okay. So the one way you can know that you have what you do down is if you make it so simple that anybody can understand.
Okay.
So like Bryce, I'm a sales coach. What do I do?
You help coaches sell.
Do you know what I do?
Yep.
Super simple, right? So granted, keep in mind, I cheat. Sales coaching, so easy. You know exactly what I do, okay? I help you make more money. Mindset on the other side takes more work, and here's why. What you do is not tangible.
Yep.
Right? You can assign worth to me because if you work with me and your ROI doesn't go up, right? Or if your profit doesn't go up, I'm useless. So that's easy, right? So we have to attach what you do to something they can actually feel and actually get a win. So the first thing is you mentioned happiness, fulfillment, all of that. By the way, I don't know if Tim told you, but I swear a lot. So I think there should have been a disclaimer here before you guys joined. But so fulfillment, happiness, that's all bullshit. Because what does that mean, right? It's depending on the individual, whatever. But what you said, though, was interesting. The idea of self-love. We can actually measure that. It's called behavioral metrics. More on this, whatever. But basically, one of the things that Tim knows that I do is we have what's called a daily focus report. I have them self-report on their behaviors. And they self-report, and then they get an answer, a result. And we can actually measure that and say, hey, you're getting the result you asked for. So the idea of self-love. Let's go with that, okay? I help you actually, so in other words, let me ask you this. What problem are they facing right now? Take self-love. What's the opposite of that? Like what is the problem?
Negative self-talk, not believing their worth. You want more examples?
not believing their worth. And then what does that stop them from?
From basically living an abundant life and pursuing things because they don't think they're worthy of them. They don't think they're worthy of love. They don't think they're worthy of finances. They don't think they're worthy of success. They don't think they're worthy of, healthy lifestyle, whatever.
So again, you use several examples and I want us to pick one.
Okay.
So like the idea is who would you rather work with, right? It's kind of like tied into this too, but if they don't love themselves, it's stopping them from doing what?
Yeah. So I'll give an example. One of my clients right now is a financial advisor, and he basically doesn't believe he's worthy of making more than $100,000 a year because he doesn't love himself. And so I'll use that example.
Okay. So again, love, we have to be careful of certain language we use, right? Because that'll attract certain, people, and we don't, whatever. There's a whole other thing on this. But ultimately, if we just take money, for example, right? The beautiful thing, a buddy of mine, Eric, says this, and he's so right. If you just add "so they can," it'll put you in the right position to be able to make the offer. So it's I help who, avatar goes there, right? Learn how to accept love. It could be learn how to deserve more, realize they deserve more. Like what? Because actually my vision statement is I help people realize they deserve more. Like that's actually it. But it's somewhere around there. And then so they can achieve the financial freedom they deserve.
It's like that what if proposition.
Okay. Yes. But the point is we have to make sure, especially with mindset coaching, life coaching, anything, there has to be an end result. So like if you notice, like some of the best therapists out there, let's just use therapy, for example, they position it in a way that's like, you don't just come to me and talk to me. No, we're here for a reason. You have X problem. You can't stand your mom. And the result you want is to have a relationship with your mom. There's a journey. There's a transformation. Now, of course, at the end, there may be a new problem. Cool. We can address that. But now there's a purpose to it. And so so the example I always give, and I don't own a gun and whatever, but it's like same thing with picking your avatar, etc. Most people are shooting shotgun shells, right? They're spraying everywhere. But if you look at that little pellet, it doesn't impact much. We want a sniper. Okay. Major impact. And ultimately, when we're doing copy, when we're speaking to people, we want them to go, oh my God, Bryce is in my head. To sell and market is to make people feel understood. That's the goal. Can I get you to feel like I understand where you're at? So the first thing is this, right? Here's the homework assignment. And I'm going to move on and go over to the actual offer itself, which is the fun part. How do we sell this bad boy? But I would do this. What is the simplest vehicle I can pick and the best way I can articulate it to get someone from point A to point B? So what is point A? I am constantly having negative self-talk. I don't deserve anything. I have imposter syndrome. Like it's probably something that you could lean on. Don't get me started on imposter syndrome. I think it's bullshit, but whatever. So then you start there. Okay. I told you guys, Tim should have sent you guys an email and warned you. So I have some thoughts. So anyway, so point A, and then what is point B? Where is the exit? All right. And then what vehicle will I get me there that also is tied into what I want? One thing I will always recommend is maybe you start one-to-one, but one-to-one is not scalable. It's just not. Okay. So depending on what you want, anything north of 6 figures, you have to start thinking about how can I do this with more people? Because you will get burned out doing one-to-one. Doing one-to-one also decreases your authority. Now, on the flip side, okay, as your authority rises and as you work with more people, you can reintroduce one-to-one, but the price is absorbent. It's ridiculous. Okay, because you have to remember, there's 2 things I want you to, if you don't remember anything we go over today, there's 2 things that I think are really important for all coaches to know. The first is people do not pay you for your knowledge. They pay you for access. And the more access they have to you, the more the price goes up. If your access to you, this is how you know you need to raise your prices and how you need to change your vehicle is if you ever have an exhausting week, you have a bunch of one-to-ones, you have a bunch of coaching, and you feel taken advantage of. And you feel like, man, like I'm giving so much away. If you ever have that thought, raise your prices, change your vehicle. There's a lot, and Tim knows this because I blow Tim up. He'll get a message from me at like 11 o'clock at night with an idea. I've never felt like I am being taken advantage of. Right? Because I love what I do and I'm paid well. Okay. Here's the other thing that's really important to know is I forgot it. So access to you. Yeah, I forgot the other one. The other one was probably not that good, but let's just stick with that one. Access to you increases, money goes. Okay. It's going to bother me. I had another good point. Anyway, that's fine. So now comes the offer. How do we make this thing look pretty enough to buy? The goal is to package the offer to where they go, oh my God, all of this for this? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Take my money. That's the goal. Okay. So the first step is you have to understand what your client wants. It's clarity. Are you clear on what they want? That's number one. Number two is you have to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. Okay. How likely is it that I'm going to achieve my goal? Because here's the number one thing that stops people from buying is what if it doesn't work? That is the number one question you have to overcome. What if this doesn't work? That is the number one question. So by positioning your offer in a way or talking about your offer in a way to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement, you have success. A couple of ways to do it. One example is social proof. Okay. So by having your clients talk for you, it's one of the best ways to do it. Testimonials, etc. I personally enjoy, and by the way, cut me off at like in 8 minutes, Tim, so we can have questions because I can do this for like hours. So social proof, testimonials, etc. Right? Have your people talk for you. One of the things that is nice, if I go on social, social audio places, whatever, all of my clients, even people, by the way, that don't pay me, they call me coach. That's my coach, right? Micah was thinking about working with me for like 2-3 months. And he literally kept calling, he's just called me his coach. That's social proof, right? The other way of doing it is having an outstanding guarantee, right? If you have an outstanding guarantee, it trumps everything else because it's results driven, right? So I'll just take my guarantee, for example. So one of the options we have is quarterly payments to the program. And so the guarantee for us is, and it's every 3 months quarterly. And so the guarantee is you pay your quarterly payment. And if you don't feel like you are creating an offer that you can sell and you feel like it's stretching you, it's going to take you to the next level. If you don't feel like that after 3 months, cool, don't pay the rest. And you can take everything we've given to you so far. Take it all. Okay, you can go on and do whatever. Now, what that does is it lowers the, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? Because if it doesn't work, you know what happens. If it doesn't work, you take everything we've built for you so far and you can go do it yourself. And you just saved a whole bunch of money because you didn't pay me. No big deal. And I'll still love you. Right? So you have ultimately, what do they want? Clarity on what they want. The next thing is perceived likelihood of achievement should be high. Most people stop there. When you read most copy, they only do those two things. Here's what you want. And the next thing is, here's all the social proof. Okay. Here's what they're missing though. The next thing that they're missing is sacrifice. People don't like doing shit that's hard. Okay. You can be mad at human psychology, or you can just accept what is. People don't like doing hard shit. Okay. So what you do is you try your best to make sure your offer, one, gets them fast wins and decreases how much effort they have to put in. All right. So there's a reason why in our offer, we have group coaching. In addition to that, we have one-on-one. All you got to do is show up. And Tim will build your entire brand. All you have to do is show up, and I'm going to give you an offer that you can sell. All you have to do is show up, and I'm going to teach you how to sell that offer. All you have to do is show up, and we're going to build your funnel for you. All you have to do is show up, and we're going to actually run your ads for you. just show up. Can you do that? Another way of wording it is like for our thing, it's on average, I think our people spend about, well, will spend because we revamped the program that starts March 15th. And so on average, they're probably committed to an hour a week. So then the verbiage goes like this. You ultimately want to have one client, like for some people, their dream like is to get somebody to pay them $2,000, right? For other people, it's like $5,000, whatever. We have some people that have sold, pretty high packages. But the question becomes, would you trade 1 hour of your time to be able to sell a $5,000 package? Do you feel like that's worth your time? I would imagine so. Is that a good ROI on your time? Yeah. Just give me 1 hour and I'm going to give you the ability to sell a high ticket offer. So I have decreased the sacrifice. Just show up, give me an hour of your time, you'll get X result. Now, the thing that you don't want to do, unless you're trying to scare people away, is go, just so you know, these therapy sessions they're going to suck. They're going to be terrible. We're going to literally dig into every single part of your life. You're going to leave every session crying and you're not going to want to come back. Do you want to buy from me? It's not a very good offer. No one wants to do that. Okay. So decrease sacrifice or effort. The other one is time delay. Because the other thing they're thinking is, especially with our offer, right? How long will it take me to get the result that I want? How long will it take me to get a high ticket client? So you decrease the time delay. So as Tim knows, I literally revamped my entire program because I was annoyed that it took our average time, our clients, to get results about 2 months. It bothered me. So now we revamped the entire thing because I want them to have a win month 1. Why in the world would I do the revamp? When I say I revamp, Tim knows, it's like we're giving way more value now. Why do I do that? Because I know that if I could tell you most of our clients get results in 1 month, that sounds a hell of a lot better than 2. Right? And not to mention too, obviously I love what I do and I want you guys to like make money fast. Like that's the other thing too, right? But yes. So it's what the question becomes, when can I give you in a shorter period of time? So give me one more example that I'm going to leave it open to questions. I'm curious. Luke, what do you do over in New Zealand? What do you do?
Hey, so a life coach focused around productivity. So helping people get value in what they're doing.
So then what we would do to make your offer better would be, we would say something like, how to gain back 3 hours of your time this week in less than 30 minutes. Okay. So what that does is, again, it makes the offer better. But the cool thing is now we create a tool from that. So imagine you create a worksheet. Imagine you create even like a tutorial, a video, whatever. And now you say, guess what? You get my program plus you get this offer, this tool, this whatever for free, valued at whatever. The other cool thing is you can also use it as an opt-in. Opt-in meaning they subscribe to it, you get their email, and now they get this tool. So the point is, by addressing and thinking about what are all the reasons why someone wouldn't buy from me, you create a solution. And every solution adds to the program and increases the likelihood of achievement. So like, for example, if you feel like people don't want to hire a life coach, you ask yourself why. Give me one reason why someone wouldn't hire you as a life coach. An excuse, a circumstance, give me something.
It's usually the main one I've probably found is how can I pay money, or what am I going to get value out of it? That seems to be every time I'm talking about, I might have a strategy session with someone and then get to the end and talk about how much they're going to pay. It goes, oh, it's probably a bit much to what I was imagining. That's kind of the first counter that I've found so far.
First of all, there's a few things we got to do before that, right? So all objections should be handled before the end, right? So what I usually do is I give them things to prep their mind. So one of the things, like, for example, would be like pre-questionnaire questions. In mind, if you, after this, you're like, Raylen, I'm going to join Elevate. I'm an elevated coach. Let's do it. Okay. When you book the appointment, there's a drop down and says, how much are you willing to invest to get what you want. And there's a drop down. And so I purposely have, right, within there, how much the program is.
Right.
And one of the options is definitely not lower than the program.
Yeah. Okay.
So that way, you know, subliminally, okay, it's going to be in this range. And if you don't want to pay that, you don't book the appointment. And I just saved a whole bunch of time. Okay. So more, again, that's a whole nother conversation. But for this, I would create something that literally says how, something like this. Because I did a YouTube video on this. It would be like, how by saying no, you can make X more money starting today. So then it's a tool to help them say no to shit that doesn't make them money. So that way they can actually go and do the things that's going to make them money. So now that's the opt-in. So they read that. Now they have a skill set, which is saying no. They have a skill set, which is like, they know that their time is actually really important. You can even do like a formula, a calculation for them to show them how much money they are losing by not being more productive with their time. So then they come to you and they see the value naturally. So again, if you start in mind with all the reasons why someone wouldn't buy from you, you create tools, you create opt-ins, you create spreadsheets, whatever you want to create to help them never have that problem again. And it increases the value of your program and increases the likelihood of them to actually take action. Okay, so I'm going to leave some time for questions. I know that's a lot, but you have to keep in mind, I just condensed about 1 month of training in about 40 minutes. So that's why I had to like shoot you guys with fire hydrant, but yeah.
All right. Thanks, Raylen. Appreciate that, man. I think it's safe to say that that was pretty beneficial for a lot of people here. So we're going to do some Q&A here in a few seconds. So if you want to throw some questions in the chat, and Raylen can start to kind of preview them here as we go. Raylen, is there anything you want to add before we jump into that section of it?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I'll just add is this. If you're serious about actually making an impact, the most important thing you have to remember is that you're not a life coach, you're not a therapist, you're not a mindset coach. First and foremost, you're a marketer. Because if you don't have people coming to you, you don't get to be the mindset coach. You're just a guy or a gal on Instagram telling people you're a mindset coach. Your mission, oh, this is the number 2. I just remembered. Good thing I remembered. Okay, here's the thing, okay? People think the goal of business is to get more clients. It is not. Your goal is not to get more clients. Your goal as a business owner and operator is to make more money. Which means when you release yourself from the idea that you're going to get more clients, you now can make your offer better and more expensive. I had somebody once tell me, right? They're like, oh, Raylen, I really want Lisa. So when I first started working with this one of our clients, she said, yeah, I want 100 people in my membership. I go, interesting. How much would that bring you? Like, let's say a month. She goes, oh, $10,000. Go 100 people, $10,000. Okay, cool. Let me ask you something though. What if I gave you personally $10,000, but you can't have the 100 members? Is that okay? So yeah, I only have to work with one person. So it turns out you don't want 100 clients. You want $10,000. Oh. So by that framework, you'll get closer to actually getting what you want to do, right? If just play with this thought experiment, because people do fight me on this, and that's fine. You can keep your excuses and I'll take, everything else. But for you, again, ask yourself this. Would you rather 100 clients, which comes with the time, the whatever, or would you rather 10 committed people that are willing to listen to everything you tell them to do? They are coachable, they're motivated, they're excited, they love every fucking thing you do for them, and they pay you a lot of money. What would you rather have? Anyway, sorry for that. Well, I know we have questions.
All right, yeah, you see a few here in the chat. There's one from Luke about mini workshops. You see that one, Raylen?
Yeah, what about it? I didn't see it. What's the question?
What do you think about, or Luke, you want to ask the question? Go ahead, man. Just unmute and do it.
Yeah, so what do you think about a mini workshop for getting someone on what I'm thinking is probably something revolved around a problem. So this workshop is to fix this problem, as opposed compared to maybe group coaching. Was I'm thinking for me, very sort of part-time still at this stage, I'm looking for something that I can sort of build up, sell, get a group of people, and then think the next thing, sell it, get a group of people. The group coaching program for me is not quite workable yet in terms of the time investment.
Okay, so group workshops, or like you can call them like VIP days or intensives.
Yeah,
I like intensives. I like that word. But yeah, I think that's good. And then you just run it every quarter, or you just can't run them that often. Like, so we run a workshop with Elevate, which we have, you know, Tim will share the link with you guys eventually, but like next week, we have a workshop coming up. We do that every month, but we can only, when you do it every month, it does decrease the value of it. Because if you miss it, you go, oh, I'll catch the next month. So that's something you have to be conscious of. So I would decrease the supply, which is do the workshop every other month. By decreasing
it would be only that at most anyway. Yeah.
Cool. So then that's the only thing to consider, but also have a game plan. So like know how, like I would probably say if it's every other month, probably 6 or 4 weeks is going to be awareness. So it's a huge push for awareness. People know who you are. And then it's going to be 2 weeks of addressing the problem, proving the problem is affecting their life. And then another 2 weeks of hard selling. Meaning like, hey guys, I have this thing. Like the thing is this, especially on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not be afraid of pitching what you do, because the algorithm only shows it to like a handful of people anyway, right? If somebody catches one post, they probably won't catch the next. And so you sitting here thinking, oh my God, I'm selling too much. Dude, just put literally, this is my pitch in every post. I write the caption, and I say, P.S. I got this thing. Do you want it? Every post. Why? Because you probably won't read it anyway. And people that do, they need it. So just literally that 2 weeks when I say hard selling, I just mean tell everybody about it. Worst case scenario, they say no. Okay, cool. That means they want to keep on their excuses and be unhappy with life. Fine. Anyway, I hope that helped, Luke.
Any other questions? You can use the raise your hand thing and just unmute and say, get it. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Kelly. Thanks for letting me pick on you.
So I thought this question could possibly bring some value to everyone as well. Partly reason why I like a mini workshop is there's a group of women here in New Zealand already that I'm thinking of doing a live workshop for. And already they're a bunch of mums. A lot of them don't have much money, and I know them personally. And the pay threshold is a big deal, so I don't want to break them. And I imagine a mini workshop could be a lot cheaper because it's just a one-time event, and I get those sorts of people that I want to be helping. Was there people that are, you know, in that sort of stage of burnout, they're just struggling. I'm not really marketing towards business. I'm probably more marketing to people in their personal lives that are wanting to get a little bit more of a mastery of that ordinary stuff, so that they can feel more, I know you don't like the word fulfilled, but get more meaning and value in what they're doing. So mine is bettering your layperson and help their lives on a day-to-day level. So I'm thinking a lower pay threshold for mini workshops. What are your thoughts?
This is where I get like in trouble. All right, so here's the deal. I don't like when we make decisions. So a decision is when you base it upon a story, a circumstance, or an excuse. A choice is you choose to do it because you want to do it. Okay. So when you make a decision, when you just said is I'm going to do a workshop because they can't pay that much and I want to help them and da, 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 da. Okay. Again, I know your heart's in the right place. But what I'd rather you do is to make money, do a workshop at a price that they're going to be committed to it, be stretched by the price, get their results. So that way you can then turn around because you have the money to do it, and you turn around and create something that's truly impactful for those people. So like, for example, I have a YouTube channel. It's free coaching. Like the session I just gave you guys, like that's the type of coaching I do. I don't believe in like, oh, don't tell people stuff unless they pay. No, you don't pay me for the knowledge. You pay me with access to me. So I do everything on YouTube for free. Why do I do that? Because I know there's people out there that can't afford my stuff. So if they can't afford to work with me, cool, go to my YouTube channel. but do not create a program or do something because of a story or circumstance that you're telling yourself. You thinking that people there, it's really hard for them. Think about how many people you've met that told you that like, oh, I can't afford this. It's a small percentage of people, Luke. Literally, what, 10, 20, even 100. If you say 100, there's like 1 billion people on Instagram right now. And you're changing your entire business structure because fucking 10 people told you they can't afford it. It's insanity. Don't do that. Make the workshop, make it something that you want to do because you want to do it and it'll be fun. And on top of that, get paid. Then come around and do something for free. If you really care about the price, do something for free. But what I would do if you really care about it in terms of like, you know, you really like, you're like, I'm doing this, fuck Raylen, I'm doing this for a cheap amount. Cool. Do that, but then have an offer after that that's high ticket. The only reason why I feel so passionate about this, because you know how many coaches I've worked with in the last 2 years that are like, I just care a lot about this type of person. And I know that, again, that's great. And I want you to help people. My issue is if you aren't making money to live off of your thing, you can't help anybody anyway. We talk about fulfillment and happiness, but the truth is, are you living that life? And are you believing yourself enough to, I'm not talking about you, Luke, I'm talking about everything, right? But like, the thing is this, are you charging your worth? Are you believing and truly believing you deserve what you want? Because if you're not, you shouldn't be coaching anybody else. Charge your damn worth, then come back and do some free stuff. Anyway, that wasn't the end there. I went on a rant. That wasn't at you, Luke. I love you. But it was at you if you felt like it was, then yeah, take it.
No, I actually found that
Tim's never gonna invite me back again. He's gonna be like, dude, you yelled at all my clients.
Great. So what I'm hearing is build your business, do what you want for you, and then from that, you're now going to have some space to give off freely to those people that you want to impact, that you know need to help.
But
so
ignore everything I said. Listen to Luke, because what Luke said was way nicer than what I said. It's the old adage, right? Like when you go on an airplane, what do they tell you? They tell you put your mask on first and then your damn kid. Because if you pass out, who's going to help the kid? Okay. Same thing goes for you and your business. Grow your business so you can live, you can be happy, your cup can be filled, and then go help the next person.
Awesome. Any other
Again, I yell at you. I love you.
For Raylen? Before we wrap up here, I want to make sure everybody can get to what they need to get to, even though this is probably about as good as you're going to get to today. You got a couple more questions, go ahead and pop it in. Feel free. All right, if nothing else, I am going to drop a link in here for this month's mastermind event. That's what Raylen was talking about here. These are the monthly events that we do through ECA. The great one coming up there's a great one coming up this month because I'm leading. So it's a phenomenal opportunity there. And so check that out. Raylen, you got any parting words?
Yeah. So with the workshop, here's the idea, right? Is that we want you leaving the workshop. It's a workshop. That's why I didn't call it like a webinar. We even got away from the idea of calling it an event. It's because I want you to leave with the thing done. Every single workshop we do, the mission is to make your business better by the time you leave. And so if you don't, right, there's no point in it. So ultimately, every single time you come to one of these events, the mission is to essentially make, like, for you to get a high ticket client that month as a result of what Tim teaches, what Emily teaches, and the hot seat coaching we do afterwards. So with that being said, I think the only thing I really care about, honestly, is, as you can tell, I'm super passionate about it. I want you to live a life that you want to live. Absent of stories, circumstance, excuses, you have everything you need. I start with a simple premise that I'm whole, that you're whole. You're not broken. You can literally have whatever it is that you want. You just have to decide to do the actions that's going to lead you to the result you want, but you have to know what you want and be willing to go out and get it. So in people, the thing is, we're in the people business. People do depend on you showing up. People depend on you improving your craft, improving your skill sets. And if you're unwilling to improve on those skill sets, if you're unwilling to show up, think about all the people that are now having to not get what they want. You're in a position to help a lot of people. And every day you decide to not push yourself, to not learn skills, and to not show up, there are people that don't get what they want out of life. You deserve everything and more. So just go and take it.